Yeah, man, it's your boy Alfred once again, and welcome to another video. And today's video is entitled "The Major Thing About Haters." The major thing about haters. Now, with the haters, what you have to understand, or hating itself, right? From haters, really, right? What you have to understand, it's about two things. It's about them, and then the second part is about you. So we start with the haters. One thing you have to understand about haters, right, is that they're actually people who hate themselves. They don't really hate you, and no one can really hate you, right, unless you hate yourself, right? So haters hate themselves to the core. The essence is to hate themselves. Now they do not know or they have not learned a manner of actually rather they've not learned a way of expressing that in a much more in a way that is very conducive to them. I would put that right. So what they do is they project. Because with haters, one thing also you should know is they have this thing called denial, and they don't have accountability, right? So hate to them is everyone else's fault, right? Everyone else but them. So they can't really articulate that and make it express it and then make it known that it's actually on them. And that's why you're not supposed to really take haters seriously. Never take haters seriously. They may get you in your nerves. Yes, they do. They're good at it. That's what they are. Trolls. They'll troll you. They're going to annoy, obviously, betray and all that shit, right? But you never let that get you off your square. You can get angry, or get annoyed, get angry. It's part of life, right? But you don't get that. You don't allow that to get that incident or whatever that hater has projected on you out of your square. What do I mean? I mean, if you come across any hater, right? They do whatever, right? Because sometimes haters can hate you about anything. They can just hate the fact that, I don't know, maybe you have money. For just an example, you have a car, you have confidence, especially when you're confident, right? Haters, you're gonna have a lot of haters, right? They're gonna spew something, right? They're gonna do something to trigger you. Now you may get angry, but then you understand, okay, it's just a hater. Getting out of your square means that now you allow that hate, that individual's projection of you to accumulate in you and consume you. So now maybe it's early morning, a shit has happened, and that hater has projected whatever on you. What you do is you put that in your mind the whole day, and then you're not able to function. That's what haters want from you, right? They don't want you to progress. They don't want to see you happy. And if you're confident, they don't want to see that confidence because they know you've put in the work. The main reason also is that because they know you've put in the work. So you cannot take that seriously. Truth be told, you may not be able to totally get away from anger, which is part of life. Just understand, okay, I was angry. Maybe I could have done this better next time. I could do this better next time. I could handle this better next time, because that hater really hates themselves. Understand that, and then you keep it moving. Once you're that way, it means you're matured and you understand that hate really is not about you. They don't hate you for you. They hate you for the thing that you have, and that the fact that they probably cannot have it, or they're not willing. In fact, the funny thing is, a majority of the time they can have what you have or create what you have, but they're not willing. They're just not willing. They've given up on themselves. That's why they're haters. They've decided to be fucking haters. So you can never take them seriously. It is what it is. They're part of life. And unfortunately, at times, we are walking down the streets. We are going to meet them. We are actually going to a restaurant, we're going to a retail, going to the market, we're gonna get that hate. We're gonna meet those people, right? It's something that you will have to go through, right? But once you understand that, you can handle things much more better, much more easy, right? You understand that the more you encounter such people and such incidents, you get better at handling it, right? Unfortunately, another thing, you may make them up in places where you have to go. School, home, offices, meetings. These are places that you have to be. So you need to know how to handle these things, because remember, if you're in a job, you have to get the job done. Now, if you allow this hater to get you out of your track, out of your square, you may not get things done, simply because now you've allowed that person to whatever thing they've done to you to consume you, and then your whole day is messed up and fucked up, and then you're not going to be able to do what you're supposed to do. So you should be able to understand that and know how to handle it. Now, the second part is really on you. Like I already tried to make you understand, the matter of fact is always that how you handle it is on you, right? You can go berserk and start doing all sort of nonsense, right, yourself, right? But that's not mature, right? You're feeding into the haters' plan. If you go berserk, right? So the best thing is just to be cool, calm, collected, chill, or just understand. Okay, shit, this happened. This has happened. Acknowledge it, and then you move on, right? And then you learn from that incident, right? So once you learn from that, you move on, right? And then there's a whole lot of ways of handling these things, right? But you have to understand yourself first, right? That's one thing. You have to understand yourself first in order to know how you can best handle it. And you have to be in these situations, which means that you have to be grinding, you have to be doing your thing, walking, approaching. You're going to do this, right? Because all those things, remember, they're feeding in your confidence. When you're doing things that you're supposed to be doing, and unfortunately, lots of things that we have to do, we have to meet up with people, right? Sometimes we have to meet up with people we don't like, right? It's part of life. But like I said, a lot of times, because we have to be in communities, in society, we're going to meet up with these haters, but that does not mean that you're supposed to quit on that. You have to know how to handle it. So it's part of life. You have to understand that part and really learn how to handle things. So remember, but the major thing here really is, the major takeaway is that haters hate themselves, and it's never about you. It's really never about you. It may seem that way, but it's never about you. Because deep inside, they know that there's something you're doing which is right. You're doing something right. You're doing something that they probably cannot do. Or you're doing something that they think they can do better, or they think they cannot, or they can do better than you. Or or you have something that they want, or they think you do not deserve. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter, right? Most of the time that's the case, right? But it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, they're choosing to be in a low frequency. They're choosing to be in a place that is below you, because if they can do it, or if they can get what you want or what you have, then they could have done it, right? And they wouldn't be hating. But again, it cuts across all spectrum. There's some people who have more than you have, but they're still gonna hate. That's why that's the point there. They just hate themselves, because they think that if they have more than you, then they're gonna make you jealous. They're gonna make you feel jealous, which is not the case. Once you're confident in yourself, you have your things in place, your purpose, whatever it is, right, that you do, right? You love yourself. You have that self-worth, self-value, self-love. Then really nothing can take that away. Cars can go, homes can go, wife can go, chicks can go, kids can go, but you have yourself. You have your self-love. Now, I always say that the self-love is the closest thing to God's love. In fact, without self-love, you cannot know the Supreme. You cannot. You're totally cut off from the Supreme. Without self-love, self-worth, loving yourself, you are totally cut off from the Supreme. No matter how much you pray, you're going to get favors here and there from the Supreme, I get it. But you're not going to have that essence. You're never going to experience the things that you're supposed to experience, especially as a man. You never. Because self-hate disconnects you from all that. And you're only going to get things that are tangible that anyone can get. So don't worry about haters. Worry about how you can handle them, learn how to handle them, but more so make sure that they do not take away that self-love, they do not take away the things that you have built throughout the years, throughout your journey. That confidence. You're confident that you can do something. You're competent. If you despise that yourself, if you demand it, then what will happen? You're going to lose it, because now you've allowed external influences to take that away from you, and don't allow it. So it's all about you, and it's not about you. And haters' part, it's never about you, it's about them. But in your part, it's also never about the hater, it's about you. One important thing before I was about to forget, right, is that when you make it about the hater, right, the reason you're allowing the hate to consume you is sometimes more about ego. Now, our ego, right, is also a protector. It's also good. It's good to have an ego. A man has to have ego, because ego does protect us at times, right? We know that, no, this is not to be done. But we're not supposed to be over-reliant on ego, because once that's the case, then we can have a very fragile ego. Make sure you do not have a fragile ego. And this is where haters try and get you at. You have a fragile ego. They get to know what your moves are, your moods also, what you value, your values, your principles, and then try and hit that, right? Because they know that's kind of tied to your ego. So you don't allow your ego to go above your meaning, or go above whatever it is. Have an anchor of self. That's why you should always have purpose. You should always have self-worth and self-love. That can be an anchor, right? Because it will bring your ego back to its normal state, and then you're back to earth. You're down to earth. Someone who has down to earth persona means they don't have much of an ego, though the ego will always be there. We're were made out of ego, all right? But it's how you control your ego and don't allow that ego to go above unnecessary things. In the Bible, though I'm not too fond of the Bible, but there's a lot of things you can learn from it, right? Lucifer, all right, it was all about ego. He allowed ego to consume him. In fact, the funny thing is, from what I see, is that he was duped by other angels, because he was told that, hey, listen, you're the most handsome, to the effect that he thought he was better than God himself, right? So that was ego, really. That's what it is. And in fact, the funny thing is that whoever was enticing him to go and rebel against God, actually, those were haters, because they knew that there's no way he's going to defeat the Supreme. You cannot, right? And then that was his downfall, because he allowed those haters, right, to lie to him. It's funny, he became the lie himself, but of course it's an analogy of sorts, right? In fact, this can happen to anyone, even me, even you, right? You allow those haters to confuse you, to lie to you, then that's when you're going to be cut off from God's love, because you're going to let hate consume you, and then self-love will fly. Never Never allow self-love to fly away. Keep it there. Make sure that you're connected to the Supreme with your self-love, right? People will try to actually always throw you off guard because they understand that you're connected to the Supreme in that way. So when Lucifer fell off, right, he was totally disconnected from the Supreme because he thought he was better than the Supreme, but that was just ego. He listened to his ego more, right, and he allowed it to accumulate. And that's how actually haters do, right? They continuously, slowly do things and then they accumulate. Slowly. It's never like bam. No, it's just it's supple. So you have to be able to catch it. It's very supple. And in fact, that's how a lot of evil motherfuckers sway you off your path. It's very supple. Even your own friends, it's always supple. They notice the slightest things about you. If you're good, you're bad, and then they use that. Very supple way. Very, very supple way. So you have to be able to catch it. And that's why you should never ever have self-hatred. Because you've got to understand those things. And self-hatred, once that is there and established, you're not going to catch those things. And besides that, even if you do catch them, you will not have an anchor from you to the Supreme. Then you're totally lost. It's been your boy Alfred, man, and I hope that was understood and informative with the video on haters, right, and why major reason to hate. So till next time, peace.